Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatin Vyasam Tato Jaya Udirahe Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike Kṛṣṇāya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So Hare Krishna, this morning we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 11, entitled The Childhood Pastimes of Kṛṣṇa. So verse number is 18. dhūli-dhūsaritāṅgas tvam putra majjanam āvaha janma-ṛkṣam bhavati viprebhyo dehi śuciḥ dhūli-dhūsarita-aṅgaḥ tvam. You have become covered with the dust and small sand all over your body. Putra, my dear son, majjanam āvaha, now come here. Take your bath and cleanse yourself. Janma-ṛkṣam, the auspicious stars of your birth. Te, of you. Adya, today. Bhavati, it is. Viprebhyo, unto the pure brāhmaṇas. Dehi, give in charity. Āvaha, cows. śuciḥ, being purified. Translation and purport. Translation. Mother Yaśodā further told Kṛṣṇa, my dear son, because of playing all day, your body has become covered with dust and sand. Therefore, come back, take your bath and cleanse yourself. Today, the moon is conjoined with the auspicious star of your birth. Therefore, be pure and give cows in charity to the brāhmaṇas. Purport. It is a custom in Vedic culture that whenever there is any auspicious ceremony, one should give valuable cows in charity to the brāhmaṇas. Therefore, Mother Yaśodā requested Kṛṣṇa, instead of being enthusiastic in playing, now please come and be enthusiastic in charity. Yajna dana tapa karma na tyajam karyam eva tat, as advised in Bhagavad-Gita 18.5. Sacrifice, charity and austerity should never be given up. Yajna dana tapas chaiva pavanani manishinam. Even if one is very much advanced in spiritual life, one should not give up these three duties. To observe one's birthday ceremony, one should be doing something in terms of one of these three items, yajna, dana or tapaha, or all of them together. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmitam Mena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Kṛṣṇa Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitam Cha Jai Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I take the blessing of all the senior devotees and all the assembled Vaishnavas before I speak. So today's verse is again Krishna's birthday being celebrated by Yaśodā, and she's telling that the stars, they are in auspicious. The star, it is Krishna's birth star. Anyone knows what is Krishna's birth star? Rohini. So here Mother Yaśodā is requesting Krishna to come back home and take shower and give charity to the brāhmaṇas. And in the purport here it is mentioned, it is custom of Vedic culture that whenever there is an auspicious ceremony, one should give valuable cows in charity to the brāhmaṇas. So now what we see, if you have read Srimad Bhagavatam, like Lord Kṛṣṇa, he used to give charity from 16,108 palaces every day. So anyone knows how many cows? This is a question, maybe you can answer in the end. So how many cows every day Kṛṣṇa was giving from each palace? Okay, now next there are 3 hints. Hints means there are other occasions where they are mentioned in the Bhagavatam. When Kṛṣṇa, he manifested in the form, 4-handed form, so that time Vasudeva and Devaki, Prabhupada writes in the Kṛṣṇa book, that they give in charity. You can give in mentally also. So how many cows they gave in charity mentally? A lot. Okay, no end. Endless. Okay, 10,000 cows. So now next question. Again in the Bhagavatam, when Nanda Maharaj was celebrating Nandossav, okay, this is 10.5.4. On the day of Nandossav, Nanda Maharaj gave dash million cows completely decorated with cloth and jewel in charity to the brāhmaṇas. He also gave them 7 hills of grains covered with jewels and other cloths decorated with golden embroidery. So Nanda Maharaj, how many cows he gave? Prabhuji is telling 9 lakh. So then Nanda Maharaj will be having 0 account. So it is mentioned he gave 2 million cows. So Nanda Maharaj gave 2 lakhs. Also we have in the Bhagavatam, this is a King Nriga. So there is a story of King Nriga giving charity every day. So does anyone knows how many cows did King Nriga give every day in charity? Again a lot. Okay, thank you for your kind answer. So King Nriga is to give 60 crore cows every day. Can you imagine giving 60 crore cows every day? It is beyond our imagination. So now if we see, when we go on Vrindavan Parikrama, there is one ghat. So there are about 32 ghats while doing Vrindavan Parikrama. So there is one ghat called Gau Ghat. It is mentioned that near Kaliya Ghat, so where Nanda Maharaj he gave in charity cows to the brāhmaṇas in Vrindavan. So now here what we see, so because we are following in the footsteps of Nanda Maharaj and Yaśodā, now also there are Brajavasis in Vrindavan. They are celebrating so many festivals from Kṛṣṇa's for 5,000 years back. History is continuing. So now the Brajavasis, they are called Ussava Premis. Ussava Premis means we are very much anxious for Mahaprasad always. But the Brajavasis, they are called Utsava Premis, means there is one saying in the Braj Bhasha language, Ek Var Nau Tyohar. In 1 week there are 9 festivals. And there are certain festivals, they go endless, like Jhulan Yatra, 1 month. Anyone knows Holi goes for how long the Holi festival goes? 40 days. We have Kartik 1 month, like that. So now the Brajavasis, what they mention, these festivals, they say these are of 2 categories. One is Varshik Utsav, annual, and the second is Manorat Utsav. So now Varshik, all of you can make out, Janmastami, Radhastami, Holi, Ram Navami, all these they are annually, they are as per the calendar, lunar calendar. And Manorat Utsav means like somebody wants to sponsor a feast, full Bangla. Now we have in our temple. So there are so many devotees, kind devotees, they give our deities. Yearly we get about 24 dresses for the deities. Then in the month of May, June, when the summer is in the peak, so in Vrindavan they have full Bangla. Also they make Aam Bangla. Aam means you decorate the altar with mangoes and give the audience. We also decorate. So oftentimes we give some fruits, cut fruits. And some big, there are sets, danis, they give bhandara, they give bhandaras. So these are called Manorat Utsav. So Brajavasis, they mention these are 2 types. So now here what we see today, this verse, basically as per Vedanta Sutra, there is one verse, aphorism, 1.1.12, Anandamayo Abhyasat. Because by nature we are Satchidanand and always we want to be happy. And especially children, you go to any part of the world, it is either Rajasthan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. There are so many countries around the world. So you will find children always they are playing, always absorbed. They even forget eating, bathing, everything they forget. Because now Kṛṣṇa is enacting the worldly pastimes of human nature. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, as per our Acharya's understanding, the Astakali Leela, every day Kṛṣṇa, morning 8:40, he leaves for herding the cows along with the cowherd boys. He comes to Ter Kadam. He, in one blow of his flute, all the 9 lakh cows, they are assembled there. And then Kṛṣṇa decides to go. He knows in which forest the demon is going to come for that day. So that way Kṛṣṇa, he goes to that forest. So now there are so many nice verses mentioned by our acharyas in the Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a nice verse which explains that how the cowherd boys, they used to be very happy touching Kṛṣṇa. And there are so many games played by Kṛṣṇa. They are in Braj Bhasha. So some games we'll try to understand, we'll try to explain them. So the one nice verse which explains, Yadi duram gato Kṛṣṇo vano shobhekṣanayam tam aham puram iti samsparshe remire. It is mentioned that sometimes Kṛṣṇa is to go little distance away and all the cowherd boys, they used to race and they used to shout, I'll be the first to touch Kṛṣṇa. Sometimes if somebody has few children, they want to come and touch the parent first, like that. So now when it comes to the demon, it is totally the other way around. When we see the demons in the 8th chapter, 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th chapter, Samudra Manthan Leela, there is similar verse, not much change. Mitha kalir abhottesham tadarthe tasateshasam aham puram na tvam iti prabho. Now half the verse is similar. So now here what happens? O king, a quarrel then arose among the demons who would be the first to get the nectar. Each one of them said, you cannot drink it, I must drink it first. So this is what is the material world. So people, they want to enjoy their senses and there is competition. In today's material world, what we see literally, people are killing each other. Literally what is happening now around the world, because they don't know who's the Isha, who's the Supreme Lord. During Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna's pastime in the 10th canto, so there are certain occasions when the demons came. So when Pralambasur came, he came in the guise of a cowherd boy. So that time Krishna and Balram, that day they decided that they will play a game that the winners, they will be carried by the losers on the shoulder from, there is one forest called Khelanvan to Bhandirvan. They will be racing from there. And another occasion, Yomasur. So when Yomasur came, that time also they were playing one game. Can anyone tell what game they were playing? Guess, somebody can guess? Chor Police. There's one game called Thief and the Robber. Also some they say Bakri and Lomdi. The fox and the sheep. In Vrindavan, from here just 5 kilometers away, there is one place called Chatikara. So when the Brajavasis, they migrated all the way from Gokul to Chatikara, so that time Krishna Balram and all the cowherd boys, they were between 3.5 to 5 years. The Damodar, after Damodar Leela, they decided Gokul is not a safe place, and they found Vrindavan to be the best, and there is nice this grass, Yamuna is flowing there. So when they migrated, they came with their bullock carts, putting all their household items, and there they made one round curve. They are like a gypsy camp. We have certain tribes in the world. In India also there are certain tribes. They keep moving around. They don't stay at one place. So occasionally what we see, Nanda Maharaj, he migrated from one place to another place. So when they arrived there, they made one big barricade with the bullock carts, and inside they made their small tents, and they were living there. And on one occasion when the children, they were playing, so Sridhama, he said, I am Garuda. He said, I am Garud. So Krishna, he was literally taken, and he immediately manifested 8-handed form of Lord Vishnu with 8 weapons. Sometimes if you go to Garud Govind, that deities you can still see. So every Saturday they do Abhishek. If you go in the morning, you get to see the complete body with 8 arms, the Garuda. Underneath the feet of the Lord, there are 2 small deities of Krishna's wives from Dwarka, Rukmini and Satyabhama. So what we see, Krishna, when he was enacting all these pastimes in Vrindavan, until the time he left Vrindavan to kill Kamsa in Mathura. So there is one nice book written very long back by one Brajavasi. His name is Ram Sharan Shastri of Nandagaon. So he has written a small booklet called Dhanya Dhanya Nandagaon. This book is called Dhanya Dhanya Nandagaon, and it explains this small pastimes of Lord Krishna Balram playing different games. These are in Braj Bhasha language, but I will translate them in English. So there is one game called Chada Chadi. Now this is a Chada Chadi, Braj Bhasha language. So climbing the shoulder of the loser, the winner will sit like Pralambasur, he carried Balram. That game is called Chada Chadi. Then Chil Jhapat. Chil Jhapat means Jai Sisi Gaurnita Krishna Balram Radha Shyam Sundar Bhagwan Ki. So Chil Jhapat means acting like a hawk and stealing from another cowherd boy. It's called Chil Jhapat. Then Chor Sipai. All of you know Chor Sipai means police and the thief. Then Kil Kantiya. Kil Kantiya means one Gopa goes out and makes direct and straight line of charcoal, and other Gopas, they have to go and find out. That's called Kil Kantiya. Then Jamai Kola. That means all Gopas, they sit on the ground in a round circle, and that one Gopa who's in the center, he is being protected by another Gopa of elderly age. Then Goat Atharaha. It is like a small Ludo game in that they have small chips of stone, 18 stones. They have a square. So in that, they put these marbles and they play that. Then there is another game called Dam Dam Dichi. It's called verbal game of singing or composing some poem. It is called Dam Dam Dichi. Okay. Then Havardhu. Havardhu means making soft cotton balls, and that you have to strike one another, beating the other person. Now also you will see in India, in many villages, now also many parts of India, these games they are played. Then Pittu Garam. Pittu Garam means in which one game in which some stones are put on another, and one has to try to take out from the fist. Then Kanchi Koti. So playing with small marbles. Most of you must have played in your childhood in India. Goti. They are called Dambo. There are big marble glass, round glasses. So it's called Kanchi Kodi. Then Gilli Danda. It is very famous. Gilli Danda, there is one small stick, one large stick. So you have to put it in the air and you hit. Then they measure it with the stick. This is called Gilli Danda. Then Kabaddi. It is India's international game. No one can defeat Indians. So far they are not introduced in Olympics, maybe. Then Dhur Kundala. So now they are sitting in a round circle, and one Gopa is standing, and the Gopas from outside, they are trying to beat that Gopa with a cotton ball, but the cowherd boys who are circling him, like we have football goal, when the person hits that ball, so all the players, they try to catch up before the goalkeeper, like that. Then Chuk Chuk Rail. So this is in kindergarten, now also they play for children. So everyone has to catch his back, and the boy in the front, he has to make a sound like the rail. It's called Chuk Chuk Rail. Then Changa Pau. It is a small game with small sticks. Then Kachai is a water sport in which you take one small stone and you throw in a straight line. So it makes 2, 3, 4 round, this thing in the water, it makes round rings like that. So it goes a long distance. So that is called Chakai. Then Firkani. Firkani means like Bhaura is called. There's one wooden, this thing, they tie with one rope and they play on the ground. The children, they play, hitting each others, and they break also sometimes. That is called Firkani. Then Lattu. Lattu means this another wooden ball, it swings with the hand. It's called Lattu. So there is a thread you have to take in the hand, it goes down. Then Dhama Chaukadi, running behind other cowherd boys to catch them. Chuha Billi. Chuha Billi means a cat and the mouse or whatever it is. This is called Chuha Billi. Then Chua Chui. This catching each other, that is what I spoke about the words. Then Tir Kaman, putting a target in a tree and with the arrow hitting that. Then Dor Patang, kite flying, that is now also it is there in India, most part. Then Chaupad, it is another like Ludo-like game. So this way what we see, Kṛṣṇa Balram, Sukdev Goswami explains, also there is one game mentioned by Sukdev Goswami, there is Bale one. They used to play with that bale fruit. And in Nandagaon, there is one village called Gendgaon. In Nandagaon, if you go to Nandagaon, there is one village called Gendgaon, and Brajvasis, what they say, Kṛṣṇa Balram, they used to play football, all of you know. So whatever it is. So during Krishna's time, these games, they were there. So now, what we see in material world, our life is changing. Dehi nosmin dehi. So, but Krishna, for him, these games, all Krishna's pastimes, they are going eternally, they are going on. So, Shankaracharya, he is especially we say like Mayavadi, propounder, because the Lord Vishnu told that you have to propound this Mayavad. So he has composed some prayers called Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate. So in one of the nice verses, what he explains that how from childhood to youth to old age, how we change our body, but still we don't get inclined to worship the Supreme Lord. So what he explained, Bala avasthat krida sakta, Taruna avasthat tat taruni asakta, Vruddha avasthat tat chinta magna, Parame brahmani kopi na sakta. So what he explained, Bala avasthat krida sakta. When we are small children, we are always engrossed in playing. Okay? Then Taruna avastha taruni asakta. When we grow, we become adolescent. Then we are looking for the other gender. Okay? Then Vruddhavastha Chinta Magna. When we grow old, social security. What will happen? We want everything nowadays with multi-specialty hospitals nearby, everything. Vruddhavastha Chinta Magna. Then he explains in the end, Parame Brahmi, Kopi na asakta. No one is inclined in the Supreme Lord, worshipping the Supreme Lord. So this is what is explained in the material world. So also Brahma explains in the material world, Yastvindra Gopam Atvendra Ahosa Karma. In the material world, from a small insect called Indra Gopa. An insect is also called Indra Gopa. From him up to Brahma. So everyone is trying to enjoy in the material world. That is what is happening. But Prabhupada explains, yes, there is another eternal world where there is no birth, death, old age and disease. And there we can go and we can join in Kṛṣṇa's pastimes. So we have our eternal relation with the Lord in 5 rasas. So when we continue with devotional service, so that rasa will be manifest one day before leaving this world. So now here, what Yaśodā is referring to Lord Kṛṣṇa is that Panchanga Puja Paddhati. What she is explaining, that the moon is conjoined with the auspicious stars of your birth. So our Acharyas, they explain that whenever there is an auspicious occasion, Jiva Goswami, he writes in Vaishnava Toshani, that if one gives cows in charity, so we get two-way benefit. We get two-way benefit. We get the material benefits as well as we get spiritual benefits. So here what Yaśodā explains, that yes, the star is in constellation. So it is mentioned that as per Panchang Paddhati, there are 5 angas. There are 5 calculations. Like in the olden time, the sailors who were crossing the ocean, they were using an instrument called sextant. Nowadays we have navigation, compass, satellite. The technology has changed a lot. But in the olden time, they used to see the north stars, north and south. They used to have one instrument and they used to have maps that measuring the distance. So in our Panchanga traditional this thing, there are 5 things. Tithi means auspicious time. Nakshatra, there are 27 stars, they are moving. Then there are 12 rashis. We have 12 rashis. Then yoga means time, when is a good time. Then there is one item called Kṛṣṇa. When all they come in a proper, this thing, what you say, order. So it is mentioned that only when the moon is going around, so it is mentioned that moon is the fastest moving, what you say, either satellite or graha or planet. So the moon goes around the earth, around its own axis, between 28 to 29 days. Some they measure it is at 28 days, some they say 28.5, some they say 29.5. So now one question, if the moon rotates at the earth's speed, earth is rotating on its own axis in 24 hours. Now the question is, if the moon also rotates at the same speed of that of earth, so what will happen? So can anyone answer? if the moon also rotates at the same speed of Earth, so what we'll get to see? What we'll get to see? Like the satellites, what the satellites they are launched, they are rotating at the same speed of Earth. So they are on the same axis. So now my question is, if the moon also rotates at the same speed of Earth 24 hours, what we'll get to see? Okay, chalo. The answer is, we will see the same, whatever phase is there of the moon. The moon is moving in its own axis. That's why we have that Purvarda and Uttararda. What we call in our this thing, Kṛṣṇa Paksha and Shukla Paksha. So if moon moves at the same speed, so whatever axis the moon is there, that same we'll be seeing throughout. If the moon is rotating at that same speed, so we'll see moon at that same angle. That is just to make our, sometimes we don't understand how the things are working, and material scientists, they are bewildered. They are giving so many pros and cons. What they say, if the sun comes 1 degree down, we'll be burnt out. And if the sun goes 1 degree away, so we'll be chilled. There are some countries where the temperature goes, anyone knows? Canada, Siberia, minus 70 degree, where even the water supply, that pipes, they are very made of steel, they also break off. So here, what we see now, because Kṛṣṇa is playing with the dust, the question can be made, what is the necessity for Kṛṣṇa to bathe? It is a logical. What is the necessary now? All of you know the value of the dust, Braj Raj, all of you know. So the Brajavasis, they mention that the dust of Braj, it is called Chintamani Raj. All of you know what is Chintamani? Today's world, Chinta for money. Everyone has that anxiety for money. But Chintamani means a tree in the spiritual world. They supply you A to Z. You need not to go to big bazaar, super bazaar, or these malls. That Chintamani tree will give you everything. So what Brajavasis, they mention that the dust of Braj, even the Brajavasis, they carry that dust within their, this, the tabiz, what they call. So there is one nice saying in Braj Bhasha. One time, this Mukti Devi, she is giver of liberation. She is giving 4 types of liberation. So one time Mukti Devi, she said that I am giving liberation to all. How I will be liberated? She asked Lord Kṛṣṇa. So this is in a Braj Bhasha. Mukti kahe Gopal te meri mukti bataye. Braj raj ud mastak lage to mukti mukt ho jaye. So what Lord Kṛṣṇa, he told, you just go and just you lie in the dust of Braj and you will get the liberation. So this is what is the Brajavasis they mention. Now in Vrindavan there are 5, Lord Kṛṣṇa's 5 agents are there. So they are called Panch Mahashakti. Like if you want to book a flight ticket, train ticket, so many things we book nowadays online. So you have to go through an agent. So Kṛṣṇa also has 5 agents. The number 1 is Giriraj Govardhan. So you'll see people going around Govardhan 365 days, day, night, rain or heat or cold, doesn't bother them. Then we have Vrinda Devi. She did 60,000 years tapasya. That's why Vrindavan is named after her. Then we have Yamuna Devi. The water of Yamuna is like Charanamrit. Then Braj Raj, because Kṛṣṇa, he went around when Brahma, he stole all the calves and cowherd boys. So literally Kṛṣṇa even ate grass. If we see, when Kṛṣṇa, he became the calf, he was eating grass, isn't it? So Kṛṣṇa, with he expanded into the number of X number of cowherd boys and X number of the calves, and he was going for 1 year. Now the complete brush is covered with the dust of Kṛṣṇa's lotus, from his lotus feet. So the 5th one, can anyone guess who can be the 5th agent? I told 4. Can anyone tell who can be the fifth agent in Vrindavan? He has one temple in Vrindavan. Kṛṣṇa named him. Anyone knows? Lord Shiva, Gopeshwar Mahadev. So Gopeshwar Mahadev is also, he's very anxious to serve Kṛṣṇa, and he's also serving in all the 5 rasas in Vrindavan. So now, when it comes to bathing, in certain countries, the people, they bathe only occasionally, or when the season changes, or when they are getting married. There was one king, I heard, he bathed for the first time in his life when he was getting married. So you will get to read in so many different, like the Gulf people, they don't bathe in Gulf, just putting some stent and all. So now in the scripture, there are 7 varieties of snan, bathings are mentioned. There are 7 varieties, they are mentioned. So now one is called Varuna Snanam. Varuna means this is a normal shower. Usually, as per the scripture, we are supposed to bathe sitting. Nowadays we have showers and that tub and so many westernized things are there. But as per the Vedic culture, 3 things we have to do sitting on the ground, answering the nature call, there either is 1 or 2, then taking our food, bathing, these have to be done while sitting. So it is called, either you can do it in the river or in the pond or with a bucket, bathing in a bathroom with a bucket and lota. It's called Varuna Snanam. Then Parthiva Snana. Parthiva Snana means mud bath. Now, many people you will see when they bathe in the river, they take that very, mud, which is clay, and they put also, as per Ayurveda, there is one, this thing, bathing called mud bath. So this mud bath with proper mantras smeared over the complete body. So there is a mantra mentioned for that. Then Agneya Snanam. So this Agneya Snanam is not bathing with the fire, bathing with the ashes. So can anyone guess who bathes with the ashes? Lord Shiva, and if you go to Badrinath, beyond that, all these Naga Babas, they put all that. So that is called Agneya Snana. Then Vayam, again the dust, it is called Godhuli Snana or Panchagavya Snana. What we do for Kṛṣṇa on this thing, Janmashtami, that is called Panchagavya. And when Kṛṣṇa every day he comes from pasturing the cows, when Akrura he entered Nandagaon, what he saw? That Nandagaon was completely covered with the dust of the cows. Even when Uddhava he entered Vrindavan, the similar time was there. And it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam that when Kṛṣṇa and Balaram they used to come home, their complete body, like when you stay in the city, there is a small thin layer of that automobile fume on your body. Those who are living in the city, they get that thin layer. But Kṛṣṇa and Balaram, their body is to be covered with this dust from the cow's feet, whatever the dust is coming out. So this dust is considered very, very auspicious. Many people, they take that dust from the hoof of that cow. So that comes from the cow's feet. Then Divya Snanam, this is also very rare. So it is mentioned that when the sun is in Uttarayana, so that time it is not the rainy season, but occasionally what you will see, there are no clouds seen and it rains. There is a sun, but it rains, and you will see there are no clouds. How come it is raining? So that is called Divya Snana, and it is a very auspicious if we bathe in that. So it is mentioned that the demigods, they shower this on certain occasions. Then there is called Mantra Snanam. These Brahmins, they do this when they have no proper opportunities or time to take a bath. So it is mentioned that Brahmanas are supposed to take 3 showers a day. That is called Sandhya, morning, afternoon and evening. So it's called Mantra Snanam. Then this can be done also. It is mentioned that Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, they can do this Sandhya, Vandan and Snan. Then after that, Manasa Snanam. And the last one is mentioned that Manasa Snanam, Manasam Snanam. So it is mentioned if there is no water available or if one gets no position to take shower, one takes shower mentally. One imagines that Lord Vishnu, the sun god, and the conch wheel on his hands, and the Ganges and other auspicious rivers they are flowing on his head. Reciting one mantra. There is one mantra called Gange cha Yamune cha eva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Jale Asmin Sannidhim Karu. So this mantra also we can recite when we bathe. So in the second part of the purport, there is a mention of Yajna Dana Tapa. So we'll briefly go through that. So here in the purport is mentioned that 3 things we have to always do. Lord Kṛṣṇa has mentioned that in 18.5, that Kṛṣṇa has mentioned that acts of sacrifice, charity, penance are to be not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity and penance purify even great souls. Even those who are great souls, they are supposed to do. So in the Vedic scriptures, there are 5 types of charities mentioned. That is, one is called Bhūdana, giving the earth in the charity. Then Annadana, feeding the food. Then Kanyadana, the father gives his daughter in marriage. Then Godana, giving cows in charity. Then one is called Vayava Snana. Vayava means I don't know what exactly, the meaning is not there. So this way, these kinds of charities they are mentioned. And there is one nice verse which is mentioned in the Skanda Puran. It's very nice verse. It is mentioned by Prabhupada in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Go koti danam grahane khagasya prayaga gangodaka kalpavasaha yagyayutam meru swanadanam govinda kirtair na snanam chatasmaha. What it is mentioned, that admirable religious activities such as giving tens of millions of cows in charity on the occasion of solar or lunar eclipses, living in holy places on the banks of the Ganges or at Prayag for doing tapasya for as long as 4 yugas, or conducting countless sacrifices and donating gold in quantities exceeding the weight of Mount Meru are equivalent to a mere fraction of the result that is obtained by performing kirtan of the name of Govinda. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Prabhupada, he writes in 18.5 regarding the charity in the purport, Desha Kala Patra, according to time, place and circumstance. So one time I was in Bombay and for something I went to Lord Shiva's temple. There is one Lord Shiva temple. So one lady, she was desperate to give charity and she found me and she asked me, are you a Brahmana? I said yes. Then she said, okay, I wanted to give some charity. She said, you are the right person. So there is one temple called Babulnath. It's very famous in South Bombay. There is a temple called Babulnath where Prabhupada gave one lecture at Bharati Vidya Bhavan. And Prabhupada mentioned to Shyam Sundar Prabhu that we should have one temple across over here. So we have one temple there called Radha Gopinath Mandir. Prabhupada, what he mentions, yes, that charity can be used in propagating Krishna consciousness. What Prabhupada explains, that in a charitable institution, we need manpower, we need materials, and we also need the money. And this way, what Prabhupada mentioned, that yes, if we are taking charity for Krishna's execution of Krishna conscious activities, so then we are not entangled. So one time Prabhupada was on a morning walk and a merchant, he was a factory owner, and he was a factory owner of glass making factory owner. He joined Prabhupada And somebody told Prabhupada, he's a glass maker from Bombay. He has a big factory making glasses. So Prabhupada said, yes, you have a glass factory, nice. So how do you make glass? So Swamiji, we make it from the sand. Prabhupada said, you are a thief, tum chor ho. So Prabhupada, he said, you are a thief, big thief. You are stealing from Kṛṣṇa. And Kṛṣṇa says, everything is mine. So how come you are taking from and you are not giving to anything to Kṛṣṇa? So also in on one occasion, some Prabhupada disciples, they told, Prabhupada, there is one sadhu, he even doesn't touch money. So what Prabhupada said, even if one robs the bank and gives that money, I'll take all that money. Even if one robs the bank and gives that money, so I'll use that money in Kṛṣṇa's service. So this is an endless topic. So here what we see, Yaśodā, she is calling Kṛṣṇa.